Minerals Council hails launch of partnership to unlock growth, jobs, confidence.
This audio is brought to you by Endress and Hauser, a global leader in process and laboratory measurement technology, offering a broad portfolio of instruments, solutions, and services for industrial process measurement and automation.
Minerals Council South Africa has responded exceedingly positively to the launch by President Cyril Ramaphosa of the third phase of South Africa's Government-Business Partnership for Growth and Jobs, which marks the next chapter of a joint effort between government and business to accelerate inclusive economic growth, unlock investment, strengthen confidence, and create jobs. The goal is to lift South Africa's economic growth to 3% by 2030 and create 1 million jobs. Also watch attached Creamer Media video. Unlocking 50 billion rand in capital currently tied up in planned projects facing delays has been flagged along with restoring investor confidence in mining, which has been singled out as the major driver of economic growth. Phase 3 will be about deepening implementation, embedding reforms already undertaken to ensure that progress cannot be reversed. This phase must be defined by disciplined execution. Every work stream must have clear objectives, measurable targets, firm timelines, and accountable leaders. Progress must be monitored regularly and reported transparently. Where implementation falls behind, we must intervene rapidly. Where policies or regulations are holding back investment without serving a legitimate public purpose, they must be reviewed. Where institutional capacity is weak, it must be strengthened. Where corruption or vested interests obstruct progress, they must be confronted. We must maintain the highest standards of governance and public integrity, Ramaphosa emphasized at the launch. Commenting on the development, Minerals Council South Africa President Paul Dunn said in a video release to Mining Weekly, "Our president has just launched the Government Business Partnership Phase 3, which will be focused on inclusive economic growth, jobs, and confidence. Mining will take its rightful place on the program. As you all know, we're a very strong economic force, a primary industry with a strong economic multiplier and an excellent capacity to create real jobs." Minerals Council South Africa President CEO Mzila Mthenjane, who is also the mining workstream's focal area lead, added, "Really happy this afternoon to be at the Phase 3 launch of the partnership, where mining is one of the 4 growth drivers that has been identified, and it is on the list of sectors that will be very key to driving South Africa's future economy. What is really exciting about this is the confidence that it's showing in the success that has been achieved so far with electricity, as well as logistics reform, and we're also seeing the progress that is being made on crime and corruption. It's really exciting for mining. We've always had a huge sense of belief and conviction in the ability of mining to deliver significant growth and benefit to society, in terms of employment creation, in terms of livelihood support, looking at the multiplier effect. Of course, in this day and age of demand for the minerals, not only for technology, but also for infrastructure within South Africa, in Southern Africa, this bodes very well for mining going forward over the next 20 to 30 years, and that is really the outlook that we have, that mining over those next 20 to 30 years will be delivering significant benefits for South Africans, Mthenjane pointed out. Minerals Council South Africa Senior Executive Shamini Harrington described mining as one of South Africa's greatest opportunities for the future. Its inclusion in Phase 3 of the partnership recognizes that unlocking growth, investment and jobs depends on unlocking the full potential of the sector. At a time of rising global demand for critical minerals, the moment is definitely now. Working in partnership with the DMPR and government, we have a huge opportunity to remove practical barriers, restore investor confidence, and convert mineral wealth into economic growth that benefits all South Africans. Together, we can turn potential into progress, and through collaboration and partnership, we can make this a success, Harrington emphasized. Minerals Council South Africa VP, Dr. Richard Stewart, who is also the workstream's CEO sponsor, described the program as critical. "There are 2 aspects for me that really stand out. The one is, we spoke about the 50 billion rand in capital being unlocked, and that's really referring to capital within the country that's been planned and committed towards new potential projects that are getting delayed for various reasons, including administrative constraints and complex regulatory environments. So, the more we can work with partners in government to unlock that capital, that's already capital that's onshore. The competitiveness part to it, to me, is also a really important part, because that looks at how, as a country, we're selling ourselves as a competitive mining destination, and that will really start looking at the capital we can bring in more from international or a foreign direct investment into the country, and the two together, I believe, is what can truly unlock the vast mineral wealth that we've got in the country. Growth too low. While South Africa's economic growth has improved over the past 2 years, it remains too low to expand employment meaningfully. Some 8.5 million people are without work, and roughly 300,000 net new work seekers enter the labour force every year. At below 3% growth, new entrants outpace job creation. Above it, jobs compound, and Phase 3 is designed to get South Africa decisively above that line. The partnership enters its third phase with a simple guiding principle that every initiative will be assessed against its contribution to inclusive growth, job creation, and confidence. Since its establishment, the partnership has brought together the capabilities and resources of government and business in a delivery model focused on implementation, accountability, and measurable outcomes. Through Phases 1 and 2, government and business work together to address binding constraints to South Africa's growth through coordinated interventions in energy, transport and logistics, crime and corruption, and youth employment. This collaboration has helped to stabilize two of South Africa's most important network industries, advanced critical structural reforms, and laid stronger foundations for economic recovery. Load shedding has ended, from 335 days of power cuts in 2023 to a stable grid, with Eskom in profit for the first time in 8 years. Logistics performance is recovering, with Durban named the world's most improved port. South Africa has exited the Financial Action Task Force grey list and recorded its first primary budget surpluses in 15 years. Economic reforms coordinated through Operation Vulindlela are accelerating and strengthening credibility among domestic and global investors. Phase 3 is organized around 3 complementary pillars that together are designed to accelerate growth, create jobs, and strengthen confidence. The first pillar focuses on South Africa's economic growth enablers and comprises the energy and transport and logistics work streams. These remain fundamental to improving competitiveness, attracting investment, and driving growth across the economy. The second pillar focuses on 4 new growth drivers: mining, tourism, infrastructure, and agriculture and agro-processing. These work streams focus on sectors where South Africa has strong competitive advantages and where targeted interventions can unlock investment, expand output, and create jobs. They were selected through a disciplined, evidence-led assessment of materiality and size, potential to scale and impact on both rural and urban areas, and the ability to absorb large numbers of lower-skilled workers, with a particular focus on the youth. The third pillar focuses on confidence multipliers. Crime and corruption has been part of the partnership since earlier phases, addressing challenges in local government, including the City of Johannesburg and youth employment, and building an evidence-based national growth narrative. These areas recognize that sustainable investment depends not only on economic reform, but also on a safe, well-governed operating environment, credible public institutions, and visible progress that builds confidence in South Africa's growth trajectory and maximizes participation by the private sector. Youth employment is a dedicated workstream and a cross-cutting outcome pursued across every focal area, ensuring that growth translates into greater opportunities for young South Africans. What started as a platform to address multiple crises has evolved into a platform for growth and shared prosperity. This partnership has endured because our ambition for South Africa is strongly aligned. We both seek an economy that is growing, an economy that is creating jobs, and an economy that includes those who have been left outside it for too long. Through our efforts, our economy is again showing signs of sustained recovery. More rapid and inclusive economic growth is within our reach, said Ramaphosa. Adrian Gore, Business Leadership South Africa chairperson and co-convener of the partnership, expressed optimism about the collective ability to fulfill South Africa's potential. We have world-class capabilities, deep natural advantages, and sectors with enormous unfulfilled potential. Phase 3 has been meticulously designed to unlock that potential through targeted interventions in areas where South Africa can compete globally and win. Growth is essential for large-scale job creation. We need to move beyond business as usual and lift growth above 3% if we are to start to create net jobs. Business is fully committed to contributing leadership, expertise, implementation capacity, and investment support alongside government. We believe South Africa has a significant opportunity to build a self-reinforcing cycle of an improved narrative, investment, growth, jobs, and increased confidence. The inclusion of many additional CEOs to lead our work bears testimony to our approach, Gore added. Detailed delivery plans and metrics for each focal area will be announced in the fourth quarter of 2026. These will form a standing agenda item at the partnership's quarterly meetings with Ramaphosa, and the partnership will report publicly against them, on progress and challenges alike.